Welcome to Just Say Okay podcast, where we are learning to be planted while walking on water. Now here's your host, Yolanda Morgan. Hey, y'all. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Just Say Okay podcast, where I'm your host, Yolanda Morgan. And if this is your first time tuning in, go ahead on and hit that subscribe button. Notice I said subscribe and not follow because we are doing it different in this next 6 months. Surprise, surprise. It's my first ever video for Just Say Okay podcast. And along with a video, of course, it just can't be a video. It has to be a YouTube channel attached to it. So if you don't do anything else, go ahead on and, like I said, hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Look your girl up and hit the button. I promise you won't regret it. But yeah, happy 6 months, you all. And the first thing that I do want to start out by saying is, again, thank you, God, for this platform and for this opportunity. Because it's up from here. It's up, and we stuck. It's up, and we stuck. It's up, and we stuck. Okay. Okay. But yeah, so it's up from here, to be quite honest. So I just want to thank God in advance for all that He's about to do when it comes to this podcast and having videos attached to it. And, we are learning as we go. Like I said, this is my first video call, but as you guys know, your girl is not tech savvy, so you'll have to bear with me as I learn the intricacies of the graphics and all of that good stuff and how to put together videos and all that good stuff. The audio took me long enough to learn, so this video part is and honestly, in the beginning I actually wanted to do a video podcast, but it became so much and mentally it was a lot for me because I'm like, I don't really know what I'm doing, which I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to video, but I was just like, it was becoming like another obstacle for me not to even start the podcast. So God was just like, Yolanda, just chill, girl. Just record the audio and then transition. So here I am. I made the commitment and I told myself, okay, at 6 months, once you hit 6 months, if you keep it going for 6 months, which I did, which I'm so proud of myself. If you keep it going for 6 months, go ahead on and try to at least do a video as a reward. Now I ain't gonna say every episode from here on out gonna be videos. We'll see how it goes. The better I get with it, the more comfortable I become with it and all that good stuff. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. But for right now, here's the first video. Okay, so of course, like I said in the last little snippet episode that I did, I explained that this episode was going to be a little bit more just to touch on like the 6 months, where I come from and how I've been feeling and where I want to go from here. And yeah, so let's get into it. Okay, so also, actually, I would like to thank my wonderful listeners for tuning in to even listen to the podcast because, y'all could not be listening. And it just always make me feel good whenever I hear somebody talking about, and it's encouraging when I hear somebody talk about like something that I may have said or done on the podcast that really touched them, or somebody that I may have asked to be on there whose story has touched me. Because believe it or not, like my guests, everybody that done been on here, I've gotten a lot of good feedback from the people who have come on. So I definitely would recommend, like, yeah, coming back. Just come back and have some more dialogue with your girl. But either way, like I said, thank you to my wonderful listeners. And yeah, um, the other thing is one of the things that I did want to do, and that I've learned in these past 3 months, because I did one at 3 months. In these past 3 months, what I've learned, is to just keep going. Cause I'm gonna be honest, like some of these days, I just was so over it. I didn't feel like recording. I didn't feel like doing too much of nothing. Um, and that's just because of the different stuff that I've been dealing with and trying to get out of my own way about a lot of things that God has been like trying to direct me through and redirect me to. And it's just been a lot. And the podcast, as a result of that, a lot of days I was just like, I don't really feel like doing this. But the beautiful thing about God, and one thing about him, like if he is like calling you to do something, he ain't gonna let you just rest and not do it. So it's a lot of days I used to be like, I don't feel like recording this, but I would still record and put out the episode. Even if it was a day late or something like that, I would still record and put it out, because it was, like I said, the consistency is very important. And it's also like, to me, in my mind, is showing God that, okay, I can handle this. And I will be consistent, even when I don't feel like doing it. I'm going to continue to do it. So if you want to, you know, if you want to meet me halfway, or, you know, start to grow it a little bit more and stuff like that, I want to be able to display that I can handle the platform and the responsibility that comes with the platform, because that's the thing. And I hope I've done that, but we'll see. I'm still growing though, so just bear with me. But yeah, so that's one of the biggest things, like doing it anyway. Even if you don't feel like doing it anyways, especially if this is going to be some type of form of like real business for me, like, and it's going to be a stream of income and stuff like that. I can't just not show up to my job just because I don't feel like it. Like, it got to be something really going on for me not to show up. And most of the time, it ain't nothing to that degree that would be a reason why I wouldn't show up. So, yeah, that's one of the things that I learned. One of the things that I'm looking forward to is continuing with my guests, because I don't know if my listeners have noticed that I slowed down a little bit on having guests. I was having guests and all that good stuff, but also it was one of those things where I had to come into it was, I wasn't necessarily, I wouldn't call it being lazy, but it's like I started to rely on the fact that I had guests and all that good stuff, and I was missing the component of, starting to miss the component of, like, this is about your journey of faith as well. So if all you're doing is having guests consistently and you're not taking episodes for yourself and talking and being comfortable, getting more comfortable with sharing the different messages that I'm sharing and all of that good stuff, you're missing a key component to why God had you to start this podcast in the first place. So I had to take a step back and be like, oh, let me reevaluate, let me try something different, and get more in tune with hearing God and making sure I'm conveying the messages that he's trying to get me to convey, and being comfortable with just me, not everybody else. Love everybody else, but not everybody else. But being comfortable with me. So I think I've done a great job of doing that, as well. So pat on the back to me. Pat on the back. Okay. But yeah, so yeah. What else? I also would say, oh well, just to reiterate, I will be in these next couple of months. I will be having more guests up here. Right now, I'm aiming for at least one per month, but if I can have at least two per month, because again, this is a weekly podcast, that would be great. So at least two people per month, on the pod, just discussing what we discuss and discussing their journeys. Y'all might see some repeat people, some of my wonderful guests, because like I said, I enjoy the people that I do have on here. So, um, yeah, I would love, love, love to have more people. So if you have a wonderful journey of faith that you would like to share, um, let me know and we can discuss and see if everything is in alignment with where it needs to be on the podcast. And if so, come on, submit your request. Okay. So another thing is merch. I got some great ideas for merch. Got some great ideas for merch. So that's something I'm for sure gonna put pen to paper on. Um, and actually produce some. It ain't gonna be too much out the gate. Maybe like three, maybe like three items, maybe five at the most, but nothing like too crazy. But I do want to do a little merch for the podcast, just to start getting people excited. I also want to do a journal. So I kind of want it to be like a devotional slash like regular journal. Just I actually, because if you've been listening and you've been following with me, journaling is something that's really big in my life. And it has brought me through a lot of different things, and it's one of those ways that I have found myself to stay connected to God. And it's done wonders for me, and my hope is that it will do the same for you all. So within the journal, I plan to think about and have like guided prompts and stuff like that. Different questions that may come up, and maybe even different answers that you may like, things you should pay attention to when it comes to certain things and all of that good stuff. So be on the lookout for the merch in the journal, because that's going to be really big. I know it is. I'm excited. Okay. So another thing is, I don't know, just continuing to be successful, really. Continuing to be consistent. Continuing to grow this thing. I do want to, like I said, become more active or interactive with my listeners, and on social media and all of that great stuff. So definitely working on that aspect of it as well. Because I post on social media, but it's not as interactive as I would like it to be. So between doing that and then doing some appreciation type things for my listeners, the ones that do consistently listen, because I do have a nice little group of people that consistently listen to my podcast, and I'm really thankful for it. And this is what I be telling everybody, because I get it. When it comes to like a weekly podcast, it's one of them things like, you miss an episode, you done missed a lot. And it'd be kind of hard to catch back up. So what I typically do with the weekly podcast that I listen to, if I miss a specific episode, honestly, I just go back and listen to the ones that speak to me, or just go back and listen to that one. Cause if I miss too many, obviously it becomes a little bit more difficult. But I try to seek out the ones, like read them and listen to a little bit of them to see if it's something that may speak to me. Even through the title, like the title might catch my eye. That's why I like the titles that I be put, because think about it. But yeah, so yeah. I also want to do more networking when it comes to other podcasters. So potentially me going on other podcasts or having other podcasters come on my show. But yeah, y'all, we gotta kick this thing up a notch, because it's growing and it's moving, but you know, it's growing and moving. We could do a lot more though, so just be on the lookout for the different changes and stuff like that, and may even do a cute little rebrand. We'll see how it goes as it grows. But yeah, that is pretty much it that I wanted to do and wanted to say for this episode overall. Just again, thank you so much to my listeners. I hope that you guys continue to lock in with God and grow your relationship with God, because that's the overall thing and the overall theme for this entire podcast is my growth journey when it comes to my relationship with God, as well as your growth journey. So yeah. What I'm saying okay to this week is being consistent. And that's gonna forever be one. And following through on the things that I said that I want to do, because these are like my little manifestos, y'all. These check-in points with this podcast and saying what I want to do and putting it out there. I gotta write it down too. The stuff that I haven't written down, I gotta go ahead on and write it down. But yeah, it's my little kind of accountability partner in a sense. So making sure I'm following through on the things that I said that I want to do. And yeah, other than that, I think that's about it. But yeah, what are y'all saying okay to this week and for the next 6 months? Because we locked in, y'all. Locked in. But other than that, as always, be blessed and have a good one. Peace. Well, look at you staying the whole time. Thank you for tuning in to Just Say Okay podcast. If you would like to reach me, you can follow me on Instagram at justsayokaypod_, or you can email me at okgodpod@gmail.com. And as I said before, ain't nothing to it but to do it. Just say okay, y'all. Have a good one.